Hey guys, Pigsy here, back for another episode. Just going to try and teach you guys today about having a plan, why it's important, and what kind of plan you guys should hope to have. Um, why do you guys need a plan? Well, you need a plan because without a plan, you sort of just go into the game, wing it. Um, going to result in a lot of losses. You might have fun doing some crazy things, whatever, get a lucky win or something. And I suppose at a low level, your opponents won't have plans either. But if you formulate a good plan, you'll demolish your way up to diamond extremely quickly. And, there's a lot of diamond players I know. They don't really go into the game with much of a plan either. It's not the best idea, but some people do get away with it. So, is what the plan um, allows you to do. You will be doing the same thing every game. So then you see which way you lose a game or what's good, what's bad. So then you go, oh, okay, well, I got raped by a bunch of Banelings at like the 7 minute mark. Um, why did that happen? And then you play a few games and you keep losing to those Baneling at the 7 minute marks, and you're like, oh, obviously my play is not the best against that, so I'm going to try and change up my build a little bit so I'm safe against that Baneling attack at the 7 minute mark. And if you don't have a plan, you go, oh, sometimes I lose to Banelings, but other games I just rape the shit out of them. So um, I guess they're not an issue. I guess I don't have to deal with them. You're not really going to improve a lot at all. Also, if you're doing the same thing every time, your play will get refined. You'll start smoothing out your build order. Your barracks will come down like right as you get 150 minerals, all that good stuff, and that'll just let you get seconds up on your opponent. Um, and when you finally go to attack, you just have more shit than you would ordinarily have, so you'll roll them. Also, it lets you uh, develop a sense of timing. So as I was talking about with like with Baneling or whatever, you in your plan you might have like an attack or something planned somewhere, so you do it and you go, oh, it was alright, it nearly killed him, and then you go, oh, what if I just moved out like 5 seconds earlier, well, a minute earlier, and then you do it and you win, and you go, okay, well, I'm gonna start doing that every game. So it's really important to sort of have that plan. So I was finding it pretty difficult to get some replays for this because it's a pretty out of game sort of concept. But I've scratched together a couple. This is just a replay of two bronze level players playing. Um, I wanted to choose these players because I didn't expect that they'd have much of a plan going on. I obs this game live, so I kind of see what they do, and it's a bit of what not to do sort of replay. Uh, but you guys will see what I mean. I'll just speed it up here a bit so we can watch the build order. Okay, that's going on 10. That's cool. That's on time. Yep, racks on 12. So that's pretty normal. And then another racks. So um, a lot of players do this two racksing stuff, but if you choose, see, this player makes a decision that's kind of awkward because he didn't think about what he was going to do before he did it. He just sort of makes two racks, which is fine. But then he also gets the gas, so he's not really going for an attack. He's not really going for an expansion. He's not really teching. He's kind of not really doing much. So we'll see him. He gets these two racks, and ordinarily TVZ this can be pretty good. Bunker rush him down here, pick off the expansion hatchery. But he just sort of sits back and gets add-ons and shit. He's not he doesn't really know what he's going. And then the Zerg guy, like, what the hell is this? He's just sort of making spine crawlers, and this is a good example of timings that just don't develop if you don't have a plan. I don't think these players are doing the same thing every single game, um, um, and because of that, this Zerg player, he hasn't really got his timing's down. Like I think he's scared of a Terran. Yeah, he's scared of a Terran. He's seen the two racks, so he thinks that he's going to be attacked, which is reasonable. So he puts down 3 spine crawlers. But if you do your build order over and over and over, you'd quickly realize that you don't need these 3 spine crawlers for another. Well, and you never actually need these 3 spine crawlers. You should just be going for an expansion down here instead, and then maybe making 1 or 2, produce an extra queen or something. These are just for sort of timings that you never learn if you don't plan out your game. So I guess we'll just watch this game real quick. There's just some more examples of them just sort of haphazardly doing things like since this Terran player is not constantly producing SCVs, like you should be constantly producing SCVs, he can't actually afford all these structures here. He can't afford to constantly produce out of these structures. So already he's wasted his money buying that factory. He hasn't produced anything with it. He hasn't made a starport. So if you're going to plan out your game, you would plan for this to come into immediate use as soon as you build it, right? Obviously he hasn't planned that out, so it's just a waste of money. It might as well be money in the bank. Completely useless. See, the Zerg player, despite having built 3 spine crawlers, didn't move him down here, so his expansion gets taken out. Yeah, he doesn't really have, well, like, he just gets an Evo chamber so he can get one of these in case of Banshees come, but, it's another example. If you know the timings on a Banshee, you can just have 3 queens when a Banshee comes, and then you don't need to build this shit, and then you can have an expansion earlier. So, okay, now he's going for the starport. Queuing up, don't ever queue up. But he's sort of haphazardly just getting starport. He doesn't have the money to fund it, he's just sort of doing it. I suppose at least the Zerg player wanted to expand. Like I don't know if he planned to do that before the game started, he probably did. And, now he's getting a Baneling nest, which is a good idea, I suppose. But, let's just fly through the rest of this game. I think I've sort of made the point about 100 times. Alright, yeah, Zerg holds that. Here comes more attackies. Yeah, getting the spine crawlers down. Awesome, cool. Okay, now he's getting the lair after like 12 minutes. Sweet. Excuse me. So, yeah, not much coming out of a starport again. So, well, he's got those two. Okay, and then he just decides to get it because he's sort of running low here. He didn't even get an orbital command, so he pretty much didn't plan past building the first barracks, and he's sort of winging it, and it's working out okay against this guy because he's at the same level as him, but I think you guys can see why it's not good. And like, the Zerg player's doing the same sort of thing. He's getting everything. He's just getting Banelings, Roaches, Hydralisks. I don't know if he gets a Spire, I can't remember, but they're just, yeah. Alright, and here we go. Right, so I've made that point about a million bajillion times. Like, obviously this shit is bad because it's not smoothed out, right? So, next game I'll show you one of my games. Again, yeah, the Terran wins it. It's a TBT game that goes on for like 40 minutes or something, and although I wasn't sort of winning for a long time, it was sort of going according to plan, and I think you guys will perhaps get an appreciation for how in a game, in just one game, a plan can help you out. And then after that, I'll show a replay or a portion of a replay of how a plan can help you get back on track after crazy shit happens at the start of a game that you weren't expecting, or you didn't scout, or something like that. But I'll be wanting to mainly talk about events the learning that occurs between the games, which is kind of hard to get replays for because not many people feel themselves learning between games. So I'll just jump into the next replay. Alright, so this is a Terran vs Terran game I played like 10 minutes ago. I thought it was a pretty cool game. That's partly why I'm showing it, partly because I can't be bothered to go sort through replays and whatever. But I do the same thing every single Terran vs Terran game, and I think I'll do an episode on each of my builds, and maybe I'll do ones for the other races too to help everyone out. But I'll try and explain to you guys some of the timings that I've learned as I developed this build, and how this build sort of came to be. As what I do, I just go barracks, factory, starport, 111 build, and then I do a marine tank medevac push at the start into an expansion. I stole this build off off one of the Day 9 dailies. I can't remember which player did it first, but I stole it and then I molded it to sort